All right, we're back. It's the DAZN Boxing Show. I go by the name of Vok.
And I'm Barack the Boxing Bully.
Didn't we tell you it was going to be an amazing weekend of boxing? Look, we didn't get cheated. A lot of knockouts, great victories for the fighters. And I love it when my predictions become accurate, Barack. So,
oh, what, Jay Swingler? Because I'm signing him to Bully Promotions. You know, he is a great fighter.
Yeah, scoring first round knockouts. No, look, overall, you know, we had Devin Haney defending his undisputed lightweight crown all the way in Australia once again. And we also, in Brooklyn, had the return of the Bronze Bomber, showing why he's the bomber, and also Caleb Plant fighting Anthony Durrell. Let's get into that right now in the opening bell. Starting off with Devin Haney. Barack, we all knew going into this fight that we were going to get the same Devin Haney. He never falls short when it comes to preparing for a fight. Even though at the weigh-in he looked a little sucked dry, drained, like it took him some really hard work to make that 135-pound limit. Nevertheless, on fight night, didn't get tired, was actually more offensive than he was the first time, was in the pocket and letting that right hand go, was landing it, teeing off on George Cambos at that time. Now, credit to Cambos who tried to come with try to make adjustments and come with a different game plan, trying to switch to southpaw. That actually didn't work for him. He was getting hit more when he switched to southpaw. But Devin Haney was being Devin Haney. Are we surprised? Are we shocked? I mean, we all felt that he would go back in there and do the same thing and won a unanimous decision, and that's what he did. And, you know, credit to Cambos' team. It looks like Bill Haney and Cambos' team, they made peace with the war. They fought 2 times. Devin Haney and his team honored the rematch clause and went back there all the way to his country and won again. Kudos to Devin Haney. Phenomenal performance.
Listen, Devin Haney looked like an all-around fighter. I mean, he's one of those fighters that remind me of Floyd Mayweather, where you can't really devise a game plan against a fighter like him. Literally, I remember one time we asked Sugar Ray Leonard, you know, what would you do if you fought Floyd Mayweather? He said, man, I'd have to probably hit him on his arms. You know what I mean? In other words, he looks like somebody that's incredibly hard to beat. There's no real holes in his games, and in his game he showed that again. He showed that he can mix it up a little bit more than he did before. Thinking that I don't want to get robbed. I don't want them to take this from me. The judges got it right one more time. He did it again. He showed that he has speed, athleticism, and a brilliant IQ way above Cambos's. And we got what we thought we were going to get. Like literally, there was nothing different from what we thought we were going to get. I thought he was going to turn it up a little bit. He did turn it up a little bit more, busted up Cambos's face a little bit more. I think he was sitting down on his punches more, and we got what we got. Easy victory.
Yeah, and look, George Cambos gave him the credit that he deserved.
Finally.
He fought, finally. He's just a phenomenal fighter. He's on the pound for pound list, top 5. He said top 4. So he is. Yeah. he's giving Devin the credit that he deserves.
You know why though? This is why I believe some fighters do that. You know, sometimes out of sincerity, and also because I want to let you know I just got beat by the best here.
Yeah, of course.
that still means I'm good. I remember Paul Malignaggi. Right, Paul Malignaggi got blown out by Sean Porter, and he went to Sean Porter and whispered in his ear, you know, go on and be great. Don't be a bum. You just beat me. I want you to be great. So I can say I only got beat by great fighters. Well, you know, and that makes sense. Like you don't want to get beat by somebody who's not.
And thanks to Sean Porter, who went on to win titles and be a great fighter for Paulie's sake. But I think that there was a question posed to him because he had mentioned that if he loses to Haney, he'll retire. But then in that interview, he went on to say, look, I lost to a great fighter, top 5 pound for pound, so I'm going to go on and I think that I have some great fights left in me. And I think he does.
I agree.
I think He's at 135. There's a lot of guys that he can fight out there and do very well against.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Win or lose, he's somebody that is just in a good fight. He's in a great fight. He wants to bring it. That fight with him and Teofimo Lopez is one for the ages.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you want somebody in the division, no matter what division it is, win or lose. You want somebody in the division like that. So I want him to continue to do well.
All right, listen, reeling it back to America. At the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, the return of the Bronze Bomber. Before we get into that freakish power, Barack, let's go to the co-main event.
No. That's freakish power there too, buddy. That's freakish, surprising power right there.
No, that's what I call it. Surprising and unexpected power in the co-main event. Yeah. Going into that fight, Barack, most people were picking Caleb Plant, especially where they are in their careers right now. Caleb Plant having a fair performance against the pound-for-pound king at the time, Canelo Alvarez. Anthony Dirrell also came off a knockout victory, but they both had long layoffs. The younger, fresher fighter, in my opinion, is Caleb Plant, and he was showing that in the fight. Now, credit to Anthony Dirrell, who was in the pocket there swinging. He wasn't as busy, I guess, as maybe his team would want him to be, but he was trying to land big shots. But Caleb's defense was phenomenal in that fight.
God.
In and out the pocket,
yes,
throwing jabs to the body, jabs to the head. It was very hard for Anthony to touch Caleb Plant. I mean, showing the skills that he has, that he possesses in that ring. He's obviously more than a threat at 168. But I went out on a limb and said that I think that Caleb would stop Anthony Dirrell. I thought that he would land a big shot. I didn't think that. I didn't think that it would be a one-punch knockout power. I'll take that. But I did predict a stoppage. Barack, I think that when you place, your shot placement is so important in a fight, especially when you're a guy that people don't assume that you can punch. If you continue to pot shot, and then at times you dig deep, sit down, and land a big shot, you'll surprise your opponent and you'll surprise everybody like he did in the arena. And that's what he did in that fight. At that moment, it wasn't a pot shot. He sat down on his left leg and came with the left hook to the body, and the one upstairs was on the money. And Anthony Dirrell wasn't holding that phone. He didn't have that right hand up, and it came in there clean. The only thing that I don't agree with, Barack, and I spoke to you on the arena, is the fact that he was digging, making a gesture as if he was burying Anthony Dirrell throughout the whole ring. Even the referee was trying to stop him. I thought that was tasteless, because at that moment, there's a fighter that's laying on the ground, not moving, knocked out. We don't know how severe that injury could have been, that concussion could have been. So I think that wasn't the time. I know emotions are going crazy, but he went on in the post-fight interview and tried to clean it up and said, no, I was just burying our beef between us.
That was definitely a cleanup. It was a good cleanup, if you ask me. Damn, you just did the whole synopsis. I'm gonna tell you like this. I knew Caleb Plant was fast. I didn't know he was that fast. His trainer Edwards, his new trainer Edwards, made some really, really good points, and he made some really good adjustments in Caleb's game. Even that shot you're talking about, where he sat down on the punch, it's just that it was so fast, it was unseen, unexpected, and it was perfectly placed right on the chin. And it did what it was supposed to do, and that stopped the fighter. And it was so beautiful. I've never seen him that fast. I've never seen him that sharp. He barely got touched. You're gonna get hit. Every fighter gets hit, but he barely got hit. And the reason why Dirrell didn't throw that many shots is because it wasn't there. It wasn't there for him. He should have been doing some jabs. He should have been throwing more jabs to try and set it up, but it wasn't there for him. That's how fast Caleb was with his counterpunching, and he initiated a lot of the offense with the jabs to the stomach, with the jabs up top. Beautiful performance. His feet are just as fast as his hands. It was ridiculous. And we got a new Caleb Plant. I've always said before Canelo was in the 168-pound division, I always said that he was the best in that division. And I'm just talking about skill set. I'm talking about skill set. He's not in close fights.
Yeah, no, I mean,
he's not in close fights. Never.
I think that's a perfect example.
Besides Canelo, obviously.
I think that's a perfect example of, when fighters say, listen, I'm not going to look for the knockout, I'm just going to let it come. So that's a perfect example of that. Right. A guy that just outboxing, winning round, and it just came to him. To your point, it wasn't like he was trying to knock him out. It was just a perfectly placed shot. So the knockout came. He let it come and it came. Hopefully Anthony Durrell is good and healthy. That was a scary, scary knockout.
It was.
Caleb Plant moves on. And Barack, I mean, there's no other fight that we can even think of right now for Caleb Plant outside of David Benavidez. Both guys are with PBC. They both guys don't like each other. There's bad blood there. There's so much to be made for that fight. I mean,
there's also David Morrell. There's also David Morrell. Now, I know the fight is Benavidez and Plant. I know that.
That's it.
But I just want you to know that
David Morrell.
Morrell is a brilliant fighter.
He's a great fighter. I like him. He's a dangerous fight for any guy. Yeah. But I'm saying, when there's unfinished business, these guys that ran up on each other, David has been wanting a big fight for a very long time, Benavidez that is. Caleb shown that he is one of the best fighters at 168. I know he, on our show, he talked about wanting to avenge that loss against Canelo eventually. Right now, they should be zeroed in on each other. Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez.
Listen, redemption stories are beautiful. And when you talk about somebody who changed up not to say that he changed up his style, but now he's sitting down on his punches. Now he knows the power that he has. Now imagine if he does fight Benavidez, the winner of that, the crowd would say, hey, I think fans would say Canelo needs to fight that person, especially if it's Plant. Especially if it's Plant. It doesn't matter who the winner is in reality, but especially if it's Benavidez because he hasn't fought Canelo yet. But if it is Plant, I
don't see that happening. Like I said it last week.
Yeah, I know. But if it's Benavidez, though, what if it's Benavidez? Obviously, everybody's going to clamor for that fight against Canelo.
Of course, that's a different
But if it's Plant, let's say Plant wins by knockout. Let's just say Plant wins by another brilliant knockout. He's able to knock out Benavidez, which would be freaking incredible. Come on, you can't tell me that doesn't call for a rematch with Canelo.
We'll cross that bridge when he gets here, but I'm predicting right now, as I predict fights, that fight is never going to happen again. Caleb Plant versus Canelo Alvarez. All right, look, let's move on to the heavyweight, the freakish power. Deontay Wilder, after that long layoff, 2 losses, fighting Robert Helenius, somebody that he shared camp sparring rounds with in camp. These guys like each other. They're friends. You saw it was very peaceful promotion in the press conferences, in the at the weigh-in. Brock, it was a shot that you and I both looked at each other like, it didn't even seem like he hit him hard. He tapped him. It wasn't with his 2 knuckles. It was kind of on this side of the glove. And still, Robert Helenius was out cold, sleeping. We've said this before, Barack, have we ever seen a more devastating puncher in boxing history?
Sometimes we say Deontay Wilder is one of, or arguably, or perhaps the hardest puncher of all times in the heavyweight division. But I just want to go on record and say that Deontay Wilder is the hardest puncher in boxing of all times. I mean, let's talk about George Foreman. George Foreman was a really big guy who swung for the fences. He put everything in every shot, and he knocked people out. Made Joe Frazier jump, but those punches looked like they were supposed to hurt. Deontay Wilder, I've seen him graze fighters like Gerald Washington and drop them. This particular punch was a counter punch, and he was up against the ropes, and he wasn't even positioned properly. And yes, it had something to do with the momentum of Helenius coming in, right? It had something to do with the momentum of him coming in, but still, it should not have given us that result. Deontay Wilder's power is God-given. It is amazing. That's what you call freakish power, 214 pounds, knocking out a guy that weighs over 30 pounds more than him. That's incredible.
He wasn't really sitting on the shot.
He didn't have the balance. He didn't have the proper balance.
He was sliding back as Helenius was trying to land a weird right hand going into a jab.
There's shots where, okay, when he hit Dominic Brazil, you know I'm bad with names. When he hit Dominic Brazil with the last shot that finished the fight, he wasn't trying to throw a left hook. He wasn't trying to throw another punch after that. He knew I punched through this man with that shot. Right. He's out. This particular shot was I'm on the ropes, boom, I'm gonna hit him, and I'm gonna come. I see the opportunity again. He was actually going to throw another right hand, but then he see him drop because he didn't think in his mind that he's gonna go down from that shot.
Not at all. And you know, people look. He had a long layoff. People complaining about the way Deontay Wilder looked in the ring. They said his body language was a little off. His coordination was a little off. I mean, he's back in the ring after.
No, you know what I think it was?
What's that?
I think that was the game plan. The game plan was to draw him in. He didn't look pretty. He didn't look pretty like a middleweight.
Barack, come on. A game plan of looking not coordinated.
No. What I'm saying is no. That's not what I'm saying.
Saying that was
I'm not talking about if you think he looked non-coordinated. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that to me, when he threw a jab, he looked tentative because he was drawing him in.
Well, I seen him throw a right hand.
He was drawing Helenius in and becoming a counterpuncher. He was like he did with Brazil, like he did with Bermane Stiverne.
Well, in that fight, I felt like there was one time early in that first round where he threw two jabs and then he tried to land a right hand, but he was way out of distance. Helenius was backing up; he was way out of distance. And after that, then he poised himself. He's like, all right, now I'm not in position. There's no way I should be throwing that right hand from this far.
Yeah, because Helenius was like, I'm not trying to get hit with that.
Yeah, he settled down, and then he started pouring at the jab, kind of luring him in. I think at first, that's what people were referring to, like he was out of position, the coordination wasn't there. But, you know, there's rust, there's ring rust all this time, not being in a professional prize fight. But honestly, does that really matter, Barack, when you have that type of power? When you have that type of power, right?
No.
And you have 12 rounds to do that to a fighter. Does it really matter? Do you have to be the most coordinated or the most fluent fighter in that ring?
Not just that.
Deontay Wilder is a draw, regardless of who he fights, even if it's Fury again. It doesn't matter where he fights, when he fights. He's always going to be a threat. It's going to be a 50-50 fight with whoever at any time.
No, damn sure not going to be 50-50. It's always going to be in Deontay Wilder's favor. But listen, you said you predicted. Hold on one second. Before you go back to that.
No, if he fights Fury again, I'm not going to say that. No, I'm talking about top level guys. If Deontay Wilder.
No, what I'm saying is Deontay Wilder fight anybody else, it's not going to be 50-50. No, it's always going to be in his favor.
I'm talking about Usyk. I'm talking about Fury. I'm talking about those guys, the champions. If he fights those guys, you can't go in there saying, oh, this guy's going to wash Deontay or Fury's going to beat Deontay.
Okay, so if Deontay fights Usyk, do you think the odds would be, I don't even care about odds, but if you think the odds would be in Deontay Wilder's favor or Usyk's?
Usyk's favor.
I say Deontay Wilder because of his power and he's a heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't see
even though Usyk might come in heavier than him.
Yeah. I don't see that. But my point in saying all that is that he's not out the picture. He is what fight fans look for when they, especially casual fans, when they pay for a pay-per-view. They want to see knockouts. You remember Mike Tyson? He's giving you those Mike Tyson vibes. You can't blink. You cannot blink. You can't leave your seat. You don't know what's going to happen. A zapping right hand that's not even landed flush and not even landed with your feet under you can knock you out.
No, it was flush though. It was. You know why?
You said it was flush. I said not flush.
No, I think it was flush. Because when I look back and I seen the different angles, you can hear the shot. You can hear the shot. Like it was flush. It just wasn't perfectly positioned, and his balance wasn't there. He was backing up. It was just unbelievable power. I said that beforehand that he has that freakish. That's what you call freakish power, where you shouldn't go down from a shot.
Now,
like
Brock, before this fight, we mentioned this potential fight. Deontay Wilder versus Joe Joyce. Now that's the fight I need to see. I need to see.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Wilder. Why not? I want to watch it.
I think that they're trying to build up another eliminator with Ruiz and Wilder. You know, hey, Usyk said that he would fight Wilder. You know, Wilder's trying to call him out saying, hey, let's see if you're a man of your word. I'd love to see that fight, but I also would like to see Ruiz too, because I know he's not scared to get in the mix.
In the pocket. And get close and not even give Deontay that range to land that right hand. Look, phenomenal fights.
He's also hurt fighters in up close as well. He hurt, Wilder hurt Luis Ortiz, you know, close range, uppercut, boom. So he's dangerous with that hand from long distance, mid-range,
no doubt.
and up close.
All right, over on DAZN, a pair of first round knockouts. Paro knocks out Jarvis in the first round. Beautiful left hand. And on DAZN X Series, Jay Swingler knocks out Churley's also in the first round. Exciting fights. A lot of knockouts this weekend, with the exception of the women, but they were warriors and had phenomenal performances. I'm excited. Great weekend of boxing. Hope you guys enjoyed. And that's our show for today. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.